The NBA is the world's premier basketball league, and despite the league being American-dominated, the emergence of international players over the past decade or so has seen a globalization of the game. Now we're seeing more competitive teams in international competitions than ever, especially in the FIBA World Cup. There's no doubt that Team USA is the most dominant team internationally, but things weren't always like this. And it wasn't until 1989 that the International Basketball Association modified its rules and allowed NBA players to be on international basketball rosters. Following their years of the inclusion of NBA players, despite losing to Yugoslavia in the 1990 FIBA World Championships, Team USA looked to bounce back, so they assembled their premier NBA lineup for the 1992 Olympics in Barcelona. This team featured some of the all-time greats, including Michael Jordan, Magic Johnson, and Larry Bird, and they proceeded to easily secure a gold medal victory. The Team USA dominance extended to the FIBA World Cup that followed with a different elite NBA roster, winning the Cup in 1994. Then again in the following 1996 Olympics in Atlanta, United States. However, in 1998, the NBA lockout caused issues for NBA players to play internationally, and Team USA only won bronze in the FIBA tournament. Despite this, during the following Sydney, Australia Olympics in 2000, they would again bounce back and secure gold. After a decade of pure international dominance, the United States would host the 2002 FIBA World Championships that took place in Indiana in their home country. Up until this point, Team USA never lost a single game with NBA players on board, setting high expectations for Team USA to win gold in an international tournament again. But things were different this time, because in 2002, many Team USA stars, including Shaquille O'Neal, Gary Payton, and Kevin Garnett, decided to take the summer off. And what followed may have been one of the biggest disasters in Team USA history, even in comparison to the more recent FIBA Team USA basketball teams. But how did this happen? Welcome to SportSphere. Let's get into it. None of the 9 American players who were named to the All-NBA first or second teams were on Team USA. But that did not sound like a problem for head coach George Karl, because the truth was, no international team had ever beat a team of 12 NBA players, and it was hard to imagine that anybody could do that, especially with home court advantage in Indiana. So, who was selected onto the 2002 Team USA? To begin with, 3 players on the All-NBA third team from the prior NBA season were present: Paul Pierce, Ben Wallace, and Jermaine O'Neal. Team USA also had J.O.'s Pacers legend teammate Reggie Miller on the team, hoping that these two would bring in more supporters to the arena and a veteran presence. Reggie was also the only player who had previously played for Team USA, being a part of the team that won the gold at the 1996 Atlanta Olympics. But there's no doubt he was long past his prime at 37 years old. Another respectable former Pacer was on the team, Antonio Davis, who also had international experience, playing in Greece and Italy earlier in his career. That being said, the point guard position was a different story. The 3 point guards on the roster had a total of just 6 NBA seasons on their resume, with the 3 selections being Andre Miller, Baron Davis, and rookie Jay Williams. Still, these weren't necessarily bad selections at all, because Miller led the NBA in assists in the previous season, playing for the Cavaliers, and Baron Davis made his first All-Star appearance that year, while the third option was Jay Williams, who was just a rookie. Regardless of the relative inexperience of these 3, there was no doubt they were talented players. At the shooting guard position, besides Reggie Miller, George Karl selected Michael Finley. He was a 2-time All-Star and averaged 20.6 points per game for the Dallas Mavericks the previous season, and was one of only 2 players on the team who averaged more than 20 points per game. And at the small forward position, there was Paul Pierce, who led the Celtics with 26.1 points per game, and just like Davis, he made his All-Star debut the prior season. Besides Pierce, Shawn Marion was the other small forward. He was also coming off his 3rd NBA season, averaging near double-double for the Phoenix Suns of 19.1 points and 9.9 rebounds per game. At the power forward position, besides Antonio Davis, Carl selected Elton Brand, who averaged a double-double for the Clippers with 18.2 points and 11.6 rebounds per game, and also made his first All-Star appearance that year. Raef LaFrentz was a solid big man selected, but his skill did not seem at an adequate level to be representing Team USA internationally. At center, Team USA had Ben Wallace, who led the league in rebounds per game the previous season, with 13 per game, not to mention high-level big man Jermaine O'Neal. So, to sum up, on the roster, the 11 players on the team had a total of 12 All-Star appearances, and 5 of those were Reggies, and more importantly, none of them ever won an NBA championship. As to who the best player on the roster was, it seemed to be 24-year-old Paul Pierce. Although the team was weak compared to previous Team USAs in the past, still, they were prominent players in the best basketball league of the world. So what could have gone wrong, right? Well, Team USA were drawn into Group C alongside China, Germany, and Algeria, who were one of 4 groups in the FIBA World Cup. And the top 3 teams from each group after facing each team once would move on to the second group stage, before the knockout stage involving the top 8 teams would begin. Anyways, the 2002 FIBA World Cup was soon in progress, and Team USA would have an easy start to the tournament, beating Algeria 110-60, which was a margin Team USA were accustomed to winning by. As expected, all 12 players got involved in the game, and it looked more like a scrimmage, with Pierce leading all scorers with 22 points, followed by Brand and Finley with 17. USA's next opponent was Germany, who had Dirk Nowitzki on the roster. At the time, he was coming off his 4th season with the Mavericks and averaged 23.4 points and 9.9 rebounds the previous season, making his first All-Star selection. Team USA ended up having one of their best performances at the tournament, beating Germany 104-87. Pierce led scoring once again with 26 points, followed by Finland with 21, and Baron Davis with 13. Nowitzki played a great game, dropping 34 points, but Germany could not contain USA, who shot 48% from the three-point line. The final opponent in the first group stage was China, led by Yao Ming, who was just drafted with the first overall pick by the Houston Rockets. He was one of the biggest stars of the tournament, despite not yet playing a single NBA game. Team USA had no problem with Yao, holding him to only 10 points in an 84-65 win. Pierce, by that point, had already established himself as the leading scorer on the team, dropping 19 on China, followed by Marion with 15 and Finley with 14. Team USA finished the first group stage with 3 out of 3 wins, a flawless yet expected position for Team USA to be in, winning by an average margin of 28.6 points, putting them at the top of Group C. In the second group stage, Team USA were set to play against Argentina, New Zealand, and Russia, who finished in that particular order in Group D, creating a new group with 6 teams, Group F. Team USA started the second group stage with a 106-82 win over Russia. The Russians were the runner-ups from the previous World Championships. However, this time, their best player, Andrei Kirilenko, did not play. Pierce again led the scoreboard with 27 points, followed by Andre Miller with 18, and Antonio Davis with 13. The following match was another walk in the park for George Karl's team, as they defeated New Zealand 110-62. Pierce was joined by Finley to lead the team with 20 points, and Marion had 16. Just to give you a quick spoiler, that same New Zealand that lost by 48 to Team USA would somehow finish the FIBA World Cup in a better spot than the USA. Regardless, after a flawless 5-0 record for Team USA, things were looking good. However, considering they won each game by large margins, a sense of collective overconfidence may have set in for Team USA. And after going 5-0, things started to collapse, slowly but surely. In the last game of the second group stage, Team USA was scheduled to play Argentina, led by basketball greats including Manu Ginobili, Luis Scola, and Fabricio Oberto. and this was clearly their biggest challenge yet. Argentina started strongly and took a 13-point lead in the first quarter, before leading by 16 at halftime. Still, everybody believed that Team USA would bounce back and get out of the hole. But that wasn't the case, as Argentina proceeded to hold on to their advantage before defeating Team USA 87-80, led by Ginobili with 15 points. The basketball universe seemed to turn upside down, as this was the first loss for Team USA since the Americans began sending NBA players to international tournaments in 1992, making it the first Team USA loss in 59 games. Despite the rare loss, the good news was that this did not eliminate them from the competition, where they finished second in Group F with a 5-1 record, behind Argentina, who went 6-0. This meant that Yugoslavia would be Team USA's opponent in the quarterfinals, and the loser of this game will be knocked out of the entire tournament. If you're not exactly sure which country Yugoslavia is, today it's called Serbia, where Nikola Jokic comes from. And Yugoslavia was not a team to take lightly. Yugoslavia had only 2 NBA players on the roster, the Sacramento Kings duo of Vlade Divac and Peja Stojakovic. They also had the best European player at the time, Dejan Bodiroga, who was the 6th man on the team, but actually the heart and soul of Yugoslavia. At that time, no one believed that Team USA could lose back-to-back games, and many thought that they would use the previous loss to Argentina as fuel to blow out Yugoslavia. Regardless, after a back-and-forth first half, Team USA went down by 4 at halftime and won the third period 22-12 to take a 6-point lead in the final quarter. As time went on in the second half, it seemed like Team USA had control of the game, but only temporarily, because a largely unknown player named Milan Gurovic caught fire, making 4 3-pointers in the final quarter.
Marko Jaric, za Gurovića, Gurović za 3. Trojka Milana Gurovića!
With Marko Jaric proceeding to make 2 free throws late, Yugoslavia would go up by 3, with Team USA having the last possession. The ball ended up in Andre Miller's hands, but he missed a potential game-tying 3. And that was it. For the first time since NBA players were part of Team USA, they would not just lose the gold, but will not win any medal. That being said, following the knockout of Team USA, Yugoslavia would continue their win streak to win a world championship. As for Team USA, they shot only 42.2% from the field in that game, and Yugoslavia had 11 more rebounds, proving to be a big reason why Team USA were defeated. Pierce and Andre Miller had 19 points each, but none of that was enough to avoid the embarrassing defeat. It was a massive blow for George Karl and his players, but they had to keep playing for a final ranking between 5th and 8th place. Their next opponent was Puerto Rico, and Team USA finally put an end to the losing streak, winning the game 84-74. And the last game in the tournament for Team USA was the fight for 5th place, against none other than Spain. Team USA took a 9-point lead going into the final quarter, but Spain won the 4th period 25-10 for a final 81-75 win, leaving Team USA in 6th place at the end of the tournament. It was evident that Team USA made many mistakes going into the tournament. First, after a decade of international dominance, many players may have underestimated the ability of other international basketball teams, choosing to not participate in the tournament, where only a select few high-level NBA players were interested in participating. As a result, Team USA didn't get the best American players on the team, which also saw limited spectators even showing up to the Team USA games, also potentially playing a factor in team performance. In many games, especially the one against Yugoslavia, there were much more Yugoslavian fans in the stands, and it didn't even feel like Team USA was playing at home. Regardless, despite the disappointing tournament, 2 years later at the Olympics in Athens, Team USA looked much better, with Allen Iverson, Stephon Marbury, Tim Duncan, and LeBron James on the roster. But again, they only won the bronze medal after losing to Argentina in the semifinals. Things didn't get any better at the 2006 FIBA World Championship, where Team USA lost in the semifinals against the home team Greece. However, they finally got back where they belonged at the 2008 Beijing Olympics, with the redeemed team winning the gold medal back, and they proceeded to win every Olympic Games ever since. But the FIBA World Cup was a different story, because despite winning gold in the following 2010 and 2014 FIBA World Cups, the 2019 FIBA Cup saw Team USA drop back to mediocrity, falling to 7th place. Although this 2019 performance may seem like a bigger failure than the 2002 tournament, there's no doubt that in the modern international basketball landscape, there's much more competition, with a record of 55 NBA players from 20 different countries in the current 2023 FIBA World Cup, and 54 NBA players on 17 teams in the 2019 Cup. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing, because more competition on the international stage will garner more audience to these games, which will see basketball continually become more popularized as time goes on. And hopefully this will increase the level of competition on not only the international stage, but also every basketball league in the world, including the NBA.